I don't think we can take away from the fact that Bournemouth has spent a decent amount of money, to be fair, since Iraola's been in charge. And I think the thing I'm really impressed with their recruitment is it's players that weren't really on many clubs' radars at the time. And although the fees that they've paid for someone like Evan Nielsen and for Kirkaz as well have been decent by Bournemouth standards, you've got to see this as the way that Brighton have been recruiting in recent years, where these players' values is going to increase with a few good performances and a season of good performances in the Premier League. I don't think you can doubt now that under the coaching of Iraola that most of this Bournemouth team have improved in value under him. I think Semenyo is one of those ones who you look at and you think, well, what price would you pay for him now if you were to take him away? And I think there's been rumours that Liverpool have been looking at him. Semenyo's been fantastic, and I don't understand how other clubs weren't interested in him at the start when Bournemouth came in for him. But I think he's in the right place right now for his development, isn't he? Because he's getting so much opportunity to do what he does best under Iraola. And so are many of these players, aren't they? It feels like a team of players that are kind of handpicked for his system. You don't see that at many clubs.
I think he's in the perfect club to nurture his talent. I think I saw a really fascinating piece actually in the BBC about, and he speaks about the opportunities that he had and the amount of rejected trials that he had at a young age. I think around 15, 16. I think he had trials at Spurs, Arsenal, Crystal Palace, and was rejected from numerous clubs, and about having this positive mindset of turning the corner and keeping obviously focused on your goals. And you got to give him a lot of credit, I think, especially the way he's performing at the minute, and to be obviously those eyebrows to being raised and attracting the likes of Liverpool, etc. He's in a great place, and I think a great club. Like, you look at what Bournemouth have been doing. You mentioned there some of the talents that they've got, and they've got options in that squad now as well. I think there was a time when it looked like quite a thin squad. But they've got plenty of options. I think that some of the replacements that they've got in there, the likes of Evan Nielsen in for Solanke, they've identified some of these profiles perfectly. Like, he's a perfect replacement for Solanke, a different kind of player, but he complements their style of play really well.
He does. Well, for them to be going in for a Porto striker in the first place shows how far they've come, because Evan Nielsen's seen this as a step up in his career going to Bournemouth, which is great. And it's a club that's not really going to make a huge amount of revenue, is it, from attendances, for example, from match day revenue, because of the size of their ground. So I do feel like they're going to have to sort of sell a couple of these players at some point in the next few years, which is sad to say. But for the time being, their recruitment has been spot on. But I think also you've kind of got to see Iraola as a coach now who's going to be quite sought after, because he's got that knack that clubs are looking for of making fairly ordinary players look extraordinary in the right system. And so many clubs could do with that right now. I think we're hoping that Manchester United will be one of them, aren't we, after their latest managerial recruit. Obviously, Aston Villa did it with Emery as well. But yeah, Iraola, he's a great coach, isn't he, fundamentally? And he saw this club as an opportunity to put that to the test, but also identify players that are kind of going to complement his system too. And so far, it feels like he's got everything he needs to succeed.